Hello everybody, and welcome back to another New World video. Today is going to be a another build guide on the bow and spear this time. So, after I came back off break, I had my 2-week break. I've been playing a lot of Fire Staff and Rapier. That's all I know. All I know is Fire Staff and Rapier. I thought, maybe now is the time to change. So, I've been leveling up my bow a bit. I've been leveling up my spear a bit. I've made a rough around the edges build, and I think now would be a good time to make a video on it, as I am in the process of mastering it now. It's much harder to shoot a bow than it is to shoot a fire staff in this game. Anyway, without further ado, number one, let's go over the stats. Let's go over the stats that are needed. Bang. So at the moment, I'm rocking 294 dex, 150 cons. It's similar to the fire staff build. There's loads of variations of this build that you can do, right? It's gonna depend particularly on what kind of PvP that you're engaging with, whether or not it's outpost rush, or perhaps it's 1v1 duels, perhaps it's whatever, right? Open world, it's gonna vary. If you were, you know, a bow builder that was looking to do outpost rush, you're doing nothing but stay in the back, you know, you're not looking to engage too much with the targets up close. You know, the spear is there just for CC, really, but if you were going to do that, if you're going to play like that in outpost rush or something, you would probably want something, you'd probably want to max your dex. You might even want to make a glass cannon, go like 50 cons, and then like 400 dex, right? Ideally, you've got all your gear where you want it to be, and you're at the 150 mark. I'm not quite there yet. I'm 6 points off, but like I said, still building the build at the moment. So, but yeah, so it's gonna depend. If you want more damage, more dex, you can't overspill in your dex, right? So you don't have to max it at 300. You can go beyond that. You can go to 350, 400, and it's going to increase your damage on the weapons, on your dex weapons. There is a soft cap and hard cap. I do believe at 300 you stop gaining like as many returns as you do, and you hit the hard cap, and anything over that is like you still get gains from it, but it's like Dark Souls where it's diminished returns, right, past like their soft cap, hard cap, etc. So that's going to be the type of attributes that you want, right? So again, it does depend. If you're doing open world, maybe you want even more cons than I'm rocking now, and you're using the spear a bit more, right? So it's going to depend. But me, I really like dueling. So 150, it works for me. I do it on my staff. I do 300 in 150 cons, and it works great. And it's always worked for me. And leading on from that, I might as well show the armor type. My armor isn't great. My armor isn't great right now. But you know, the premise is there. The premise is sound. So just like the previous build, we're going to be rocking medium to its highest extent. So heavy head, heavy chest, medium gloves, light legs, medium boots. So exactly the same as my last build. Again, maybe if you were running Outpost Rush, you would run light armor. So you would get the extra damage buff that you get on the weight here. If I just hover over the weight, you can see you get the equipment loads, right? So you got heavy, medium, light. You get a bonus to damage. You deal 20% bonus damage and 30% bonus healing when you have light. So it's entirely up to you. You can run. I've got an Onyx gem here. Unfortunately, it's not a cut one, so I can't show you the stat. But Onyx will give you 30% extra damage on your first attack, right? So if you were to have, let's say if you were a glass cannon build, right, and you were running 400 dex, like we said, and 50 cons, and you were running light armor, then maybe you put an Onyx in your bow, so you get extra damage. You make sure that you get all the right perks for the bow, that it increases how much damage your heavy attacks do, right? You focus all on that. You'd go for this side of the tree. You'd go for the last ability of the hunter tree, so you could get the extra damage on the head, and you get the Vorpal weapon affix, which I think I do believe I have. Yep, with Vorpal, 14% extra headshot damage. You'd run all that, and then as you can imagine, your headshots and outpost rush when you're peppering from the back all of a sudden are doing absolutely insane damage, disgusting damage. So that's something to think about. It does depend on the type of fighting that you want to do. So there you go. We've gone over the attributes. We've gone on over the type of armor. Let's look at the bow abilities now. As you can see, my bow's only level 10 or 11, and it's not fully where I want it to be. I'll put it up a picture of a build of the build that I'm doing now, at least the one that I'm going to try and build. I'm running rapid shot, and it was just a little bit of a test. Usually I would use penetrating shot, but I would still keep evade shot and poison shot. So I'll put up a picture of here of what it would look like at its max. You know, what you would go for. And so the main abilities that we're going for are evade shot, poison shot, and penetrating shot. Okay, let's go over to the spear. We've got javelin, sweep, and vault kick. Again, you can transfer that. You know, javelin isn't mega important, but I would say sweep and vault kick are pretty important. Like they're the main bread and butter of the spear. Just like the rapier in the fire staff and rapier build, the melee weapon is there and you can use it, and that's why I run 150 cons, because I like to be afforded the opportunity to pull out the melee weapon, take a few hits if I need to, and keep on going with the melee weapon, right? But it's more there for its CC, just like the rapier is, right? You've got the rapier because it's got riposte and it's got fléché and can get out of there, and it's got evade. Same sort of difference with the spear. It's going to provide you the CC you need to disengage when you need to and re-engage with the bow, right? Because the damage, your main damage, is coming from the bow, and it's a little bit difficult. It can be difficult to land shots with the bow and things like that, but hey ho, there we go. Anyway, let's move on. Let's look at now. Ooh, gems. Yes, let's look at gems. So the gems I'm running currently are the following. I'm running the malachite for the spear. So it's just a lower rank gem at the moment. So it's only 10%, but I believe it goes to 15%. 15% damage against targets with an active crowd control status effect, slow, stun, or root. Again, 2 of the abilities on the spear are indeed stunned, so you get more damage out of the spear if you run the malachite. It just makes sense. And again, the bow, the one I'm using at the moment, is opportunist. 20% damage against targets with less than 30% health. Now, the reason I'm running this gem, it's just because in Outpost Rush and things like that, I always find myself getting the target very low and then them running away and disengaging and me not being able to finish, you know, the fight before they can re-heal, go do something or whatever. So I got the gem in hopes that I would do more damage as the target was retreating with low health, to give me more room to be able to finish it quickly. That's why I grabbed that gem. But a lot of bow users run Onyx because 30% extra damage for the first attack, and if you can make it like a heavy attack and it gets on the head, then like I said, crazy damage. Okay, guys. The last thing I'm going to go over is just talking about some of the weapon perks that you can actually get for the bow and which ones actually might be useful to you. So I'm going to pull up just a little image now, and so just looking at some of the perks here. Now, having perks on weapons is definitely important in any type of situation. It just depends on the actual thing that you're running, right? So we discussed earlier what sort of abilities we were going to use. We were going to use Poison Cloud, we were going to use Evade Shot, and we wanted Penetrating Shot as well. So we would want the Enfeebling Poison Shot because that's useful. We would want Energizing Evade Shot. We would want Refreshing Penetrating Shot. Now, Refreshing Penetrating Shot actually isn't, you know, amazing, but you don't have to have all 3 of them, but it is important. Like, the Enfeebling Poison Shot one is particularly good, but if you find pieces of gear with these items, make sure you're grabbing them, and if you can get one for a cheap price on you know, the auction house, then maybe you grab one as well. They're definitely not bad to look at. Okay, so anyway, guys, that's going to be it from me. Thank you very much for watching the video, and I will see you in another New World video. Peace.